Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 20th. The time is 6:34 p.m. and I'd like to call this meeting to order. First up on our agenda is the consent agenda. First is minutes from June 6, 2023. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll take the motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is warrant 77. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve warrant 77.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is the disposal of antiquated library books.
Thank you.
We don't have a,
It is.
we just have a thing,
It's,
but we don't have anyone here.
textbook inventory.
Yeah. No, I just didn't, sometimes they come and they talk to us about it, so I didn't know if there was anything.
Oh, okay. So it's these metal titles is a separate document, and then books from the junior, senior high school. I can speak to the junior, senior high school side.
Sure.
Right now, it is only from the Spanish department. Everything has been replaced with more current editions. So that's the only addition for now. They'll still be inventorying over the summer, so we may bring something more to you in July or the beginning of August.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the disposal of the antiquated books? Hearing none, I'll take the motion.
Pause. Are we doing two separate votes, one for the antiquated library books and then one for the textbooks?
It does appear that way.
Okay, just to clarify for.
Yep.
code.
So we'll do the library first.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve disposal of the antiquated library books.
Do you have a second?
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is antiquated textbooks. Same situation. Todd already talked to that about for the high school. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll take the motion.
Make a motion to accept the disposal of the textbook inventory as written.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next up is visitor comments. Any citizen wishing to speak before the committee must sign in with the administrative assistant prior to the opening of the regular session of the school committee. The visitor will identify themselves by name and address and shall speak for no longer than 3 minutes. For anyone unable to sign in ahead of time, we ask that you clearly state your name and address so that this information can be included in the record for the meeting. Do we have any visitors? All right, seeing none. We'll move on to student representative. Faith, we'll have to touch base with her and see what she plans on coming in
For the summer plan?
for a summer plan, and then we'll, in the fall, we'll work on it. Marcus usually came for like the first meeting of the month, so.
Okay.
Just touch base with her on that. All right, next up is new business. First up is the wellness policy. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Pretty good.
So the wellness policy that is currently, I should say current or active or however you would want to call it, was in from 2018. Due to COVID and not being able to have a chance to do that, when food services was audited by the state last year, they said, okay, you guys need to jump on that. So the policy that we sent to you as a draft is based off of the CDC's whole school, whole community, whole child model, which is an evidence-based approach to health in the school setting. So the areas that are addressed in it, the 10 or more, and then are broken down into things that we're already currently doing, as well as other things that we're working on enhancing to make sure that we're bringing a comprehensive health program to the district at multiple levels. So it's talking about like school health and safety policy, so we made sure like our emergency operation plan was in there. We are in the middle of changing our medical emergency response plan to include behavioral health based off of a new DESE requirement. So that's something that I've been working with Steve and the emergency operations staff and team on. Also making sure that we're talking about our school counseling services and making sure that resources are available, because the state now has a new behavioral health hotline that's open 24/7 for anybody to contact, and making sure that that's available to the community and our behavioral health team. So that was something that I shared with them in the last 2 weeks, and then it's on our website for families to access and in the RAM report under the health services. So families can access it there. There's also local sites in the area too that are discussed in there that they could go to if they feel like they need emergency care now, so they don't end up in an emergency room. They would just go to these sites. So that's something that gets pulled into this. And then just really making sure that we're meeting the criteria of what the state is looking for, including nutrition, physical education and activity, all of those different things.
So were there a lot of changes? So this is a draft, or is this the?
So this is the draft that is basically been finished by the team. A lot of the things that got pulled in are also from our student handbooks that weren't in the policy previously, that make sure that it matches the modules for the CDC frameworks for health. So guidance took a look at it, the PE teachers and health teachers took a look at it, school physician, just trying to make sure that we're meeting what we need to be meeting under what we're required to have.
Any questions for Nancy?
I just took a peek at this earlier. I'm wondering if it's my computer, or does anyone have access to pages 36 and on? Mine says couldn't preview file.
I had it.
That's so weird.
It's coming through.
It was slow, but mine is up now.
Okay.
Yeah, the old policy is not broken down very well, so we tried to make sure that this was really more easier to access in terms of having page numbers and a table of contents and things like that, so that it references specific things. One of the big things too that the nursing team requested that get included was having a more comprehensive plan for allergies, especially life-threatening allergies. For the 23-24 school year, we have 3 grades that the kids are going to be changing classes, 4th, 5th, and 6th, that would need to be allergen safe, because we have so many students with life-threatening allergies that require an EpiPen. So making sure that we're putting things in place to ensure their safety.
Any questions?
There's information about a committee meeting a minimum of 4 times a year and including different people. Is that currently something that's been in place? Has that been on hold?
That's been occurring. We've been sharing out the times in the nursing part of the RAM report, and it goes out with East Meadows when Lisa sends it out, and it's on the health services website. There was one meeting that was canceled because I was on medical leave, but we have met the rest of the time. To be honest with you, we do not get a lot of attendance. And that's something we need to look at moving forward, of maybe changing the time and really trying to make sure that it might need to be separate from the nursing newsletter, where it's literally embedded into like the highlighted parts of the RAM report and things like that to garner more attention and input.
I was looking at that too, because it says school committee member on there, and I was not aware that that was out there, or that one of us should be going. So, and I must have missed it, obviously, but I've never seen the nursing newsletter.
It's a link that's on like the top part of the RAM report, It's like health services, nursing, wellness committee, it's all built into one. And we update that every week. I go in and make edits, and it's a live document.
Yeah, so we might have to, maybe when we talk to Ally, because I feel like some of the RAM report, more of it's highlighted than not, so just kind of some of my personal preference and just some other things that I've heard from people, it's more difficult to read because there's so much that's highlighted that if that would be enough for a RAM report. Maybe there's like one page that's just the things that recur week over week or something, because yours is probably in that highlighted section, but it gets, the links don't stand out or pop.
Right.
So, or maybe broken out differently, because I feel foolish because I didn't even
That's
see
okay, I mean.
or know that school committee members should be on this committee and be, we should be represented for those things, so. Jill, I may have stepped on. Did you have anything else?
No, that was part of it too, and thinking about if that was something that, somebody should be designated or thinking about going forward designated to attend and go to, because it was not something when we talked about subcommittees or
Right.
committees or different things, that was not one that's ever been brought up.
In the past, I mean, since I've been here, starting in 2016, this has just not been one of those committees that's been well supported. We've had people coming in and out, but even with school staff trying to get people on and attending, it's been challenging. So
Have you asked for us to come before?
I think I may have, but it's been open to the public. Like, students can come, staff, family, community members. We've invited like the police chief and fire chief. They haven't attended, so it's not something that a lot of people go to be honest with you. But I will definitely
also add the school committee to the calendar invites, so
Okay.
at least they know
Yeah, that would be
Right,
when
'cause
it's
if-
coming.
Okay.
Because the way this reads is it's like this is who your committee is made up of, but when you look at your documented people that were on the wellness committee that are doing that, not all of these categories are represented, so maybe we need to outline, what your wellness committee is and participation at meetings.
Okay.
Because if your committee, if this is really who your committee should have, then your committee is not represented in this document.
Mhm.
So I think that's just, I don't know that you guys have put in a ton of work. I don't know that anyone needs to do that, but I think just maybe we need to tweak the wording or something. Because
Okay.
your committee that's meeting 4 times a year is not the committee that's listed at the top as the wellness committee that put this document together.
I don't even see where that was listed.
It's
I'm
on
assuming
it's on
that's,
page
that
2.
the intention of the committee is to include all of these
Right.
sub-parties.
Right.
Mhm.
So it just, like, that can be attendance for the meeting. We want to have all of these people, but this is your
Or
This is your
inclusive
committee,
of-
yeah.
Right.
Like when we list out our school committee members, it's those of us here, and then we ask for other people to attend, so.
The newsletters do include, and on the website, our meeting agenda and our meeting notes, so that if people can't be present, they still have access to those things too. So we are trying to get the information out. We
Yeah.
just obviously need to do a better job of making sure that happens.
Well, it's definitely not all, I just pulled it up too on the, from the East Meadow newsletter. I think, like Jen said too, sometimes there's so much information, it's on the last page.
Yeah.
And I'm totally guilty of it. And yeah, if you click it, there's a great, not to at all minimize the work you've done, because it's, every meeting's on here, the notes are on here, it's very well organized. We just didn't know it was even there. So if
Okay.
we don't know, I have a feeling probably a lot of other people
Right.
haven't seen it. So maybe we just do a better job about, like as a whole, kind of promoting different things that you said. So if you can add it to the calendar, if we can add it to maybe the dates when those newsletters go out, like when Mrs. Desjardins puts hers, it could be one of the dates, because you don't meet that frequently. It wouldn't be odd to, it's like it's every week. There's only
Okay.
4 a year. That might be helpful to get
Okay.
people's
You can
attention.
throw it in your update to us
Yep.
when we have it, just so that it's out there, so we can try to make sure that we're getting the coverage that we need, so.
And Nancy, is it still on Zoom?
Yeah, we were just finding
Or
that
Google
was
Meets?
easier for folks to meet, so like, if they couldn't physically get here, even if they were on for like 15, 20 minutes, got the meat and potatoes of it, we were okay with that, so.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to do better.
That's a lie. Absolutely. Any other questions or comments on this wellness policy? So if it's a policy, will it have a link from the handbook?
I think they're in there.
Okay.
If not, I will make sure it gets in there.
Okay.
It will be, yes, it would be linked in there.
All right, if there's no other questions, I'll take the motion.
Are we using this as a first read, second read? Because I know it was on under vote, but this is the first time we're seeing it. So I just didn't know what the expectation was around getting information.
Oh, I didn't think of the first read, second read, but it's not our policy. Do you guys want to vote next time so we have time to think of any other questions? Or what are your thoughts? I'm open to either way. I didn't even think because it's a policy we should have a second read.
I mean, I certainly looked at it and read through it, and I know that there's a lot of information in there. I don't know that I necessarily have any additional questions or, concerns or anything like that. I just didn't know if there was kind of like a set procedure that we were trying to stick to, or if this was something that was different in some way that I didn't know of.
Well, I'll tell you, my initial thought was that it's not, I felt like we were voting to bring it into, not on content of, so I didn't think unless there was something that was glaring, so I didn't think of the first read, second read situation, but again, I'm open to it, because I was thinking we're voting to adopt it. Update what's there, but it's not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily 100% live in our realm, but I don't know.
Will defer to Nancy. The next time the committee meets is July 31st, I believe. Would there be anything that you think would be problematic if we waited to vote until then?
No, I mean, and I would have it on the health services website, because that's currently where the current policy is, so it's just, for me, it takes like 5 minutes to switch it over and we're good.
Okay.
And just making sure that that's shared with the staff, because they have to go through it through their annual training every year as well, to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Well, why don't we, I don't know, what is everyone's thought? Do we want to move it to the 31st for a vote? Or are people comfortable voting on it now?
I said my piece already. I'm just being quiet.
I understand both,
don't we
either
wait-
giving it the
Why don't we
read.
just
Why don't we
postpone
wait
it then,
and
since
then
there's a little bit of, it feels a little
gives
bit
people-
uncertain.
Yeah, it gives people time to read it, and even if it just means the 31st you come in with no questions and vote,
Right.
then there's no harm in that.
So 7:31. Thanks for that catch, Jill, I appreciate it. Okay,
I
next.
guess one thing I would ask is, I don't know if Nancy's available on the 31st, so if you did review it prior and you had questions, if you could send them to me and Nancy, because if Nancy can't be there, I want to make sure that I can answer them.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah, as of right now, I have nothing planned, so I will be there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Next up is the custodial contract.
So the settlement conditions should be in your folder. Those are just my notes, but this is what our attorney built the contract from. Some of it was cleaning up some language. There were some holidays that were in other contracts that were not in this contract that we included. The severance is new. Obviously, the COLA is new, and then there's a new piece in the longevity for maintenance staff only, in addition to the increase.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, any questions on this? If not, I will I'll take the motion, and I will hear it as well, but I will take it.
I'll make a motion to vote to approve the custodial contract.
Can I have-
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unit C, I believe we are not there yet, so we will table that to our next meeting. Next up is our continuing business for the enrollment dashboard.
So we did go over enrollment dashboard last time, but just in regards to school choice. So the first round of school choice applicants were informed last week whether they were accepted or waitlisted. They're currently only a waitlist for grade 1. We had 4 open seats and 11 applicants. So so the 4 students who were accepted received notice of that. The students who went on the wait list received notice of that. We sent out 32 acceptance letters district-wide, and we've already heard back, and this was just Thursday, Friday they received them, and we've already heard back with 16 of those 32 accepting, 15 of those 32 accepting their spot. So we'll continue to follow up. We'll give them some time with the people that we haven't heard from. I do know when it comes to school choice, sometimes families have multiple applications out, so sometimes they might be waiting for someone else, or they might be waiting for us before they make their decision. So.
Now for the wait list, I just want to clarify that we won't, the remaining 7 for that wait list, that becomes a lottery for if any other seats open up. If we have any people leave or anyone reneges, then those 7 names go into a lottery, and we do that on or about July 1st?
That lottery we did last week. So the 7 students in the lottery, we have the order.
Oh, you have the order?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right. That sounds great. Any other questions or school choice, enrollment dashboard or school choice questions? My only last one is have we heard from any others giving notice to leave?
Any other students?
Mm-hmm.
Not since we last spoke about it.
Okay.
Some rumors are floating out there, but official withdrawals, no.
Okay. All right. All right. Standing reports. Superintendent.
All right. So just reiterate a couple of points that I included in the update for school committee last week. Summer school plans are falling into place. Extended school year is scheduled to begin on Wednesday, July 5th, and will run through July 27th. Enrichment will run July 10th through July 27th. Both programs are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 11:30. We're anticipating somewhere between 60 and 80 students between the 2 programs. Maybe not for the full 3 or 4 weeks, but at some point over the summer. So excited to get those up and running. And then also just wanted to make sure that you all are aware and that the community's aware. It's been a busy time. Desi has put up a number of grants recently. So we put out a Summer Academic Acceleration Academy grant. That would be in addition to enrichment and ESY. What we were planning for, if we were to receive that grant, that we would run an ELA and Math Academy in mid to early August. So it's a quick turnaround if we're awarded the grant. We've talked to some staff who are interested, and we'll start speaking to students and families as soon as we know if we have the funding for that. We've also we're also pursuing a Safe and Supportive Schools grant. Really, that allows us to conduct a self-assessment for a year. It's a year of reflecting what we have, what we don't have, what we're missing, what we'd like to see. And then typically, if we get this grant, that leads to applying for another grant to implement the plan. We also, in partnership with Hadley and Hatfield and our police and fire, and Hadley and Hatfield's police and fire, have pursued a competitive career and technical education partnership grant. That's identified to support local and regional and local partnerships to expand existing and/or develop new CTE programs and initiatives. We are focused with those communities on a public safety academy. Again, this would be a planning grant where the three communities could work together to develop what that plan could look like and then work towards implementation. So that would be likely a couple years away if awarded. And Hadley was the lead on it. They submitted the application, but letters of support from our police, fire, and schools were submitted with that grant. And then finally, we also applied for an Innovation Career Pathways Planning Grant. Again, another planning grant. The purpose of that is to start to build an innovation pathway program. Typically, they provide resources to school districts who get that designation. We have a lot of things already in place that I believe will lead us to getting that grant. We have coding classes, computer science classes. We've also have support from Mass Hire and the Workforce Development Board in Hampshire and Franklin County issued support around our applying for that grant. This will give us time to apply for the designation. Part of the reason for this is where DESE is putting their money towards early college, innovation grants like this. And I think in some ways, as a district who has some of these things in place, we'd be foolish not to pursue where DESE is allocating funding. It might cause little shifts for us, but you know, right now we're one of those districts that we said throughout the budget process, we're not getting the funding through Chapter 70 through the state formula. So there's other pockets and ways to work around what we're not getting in Chapter 70. So wanted to make sure everybody was aware of our attempts to supplement our budget in those ways. And then, again, I've said this before, I want to thank the committee, the leadership team, and all of our staff for the 2022-23 school year. Obviously today, I guess, is officially day one of summer vacation for most students and staff, but want to let parents and families know, I would really encourage you to, if you want to set up a meeting with administration or a teacher, to reach out. Sometimes drop-ins are not as effective at this time of year because we do encourage our administrators and folks to take their vacations during this time as well. So if you drop in, somebody will be there to greet you, but it might not be the person that you're looking for. So please try to reach out, and we're happy to set something up around what we have scheduled. So that's all I have.
Any questions? All right, Todd?
So last meeting, following it, I sent communication out to Control Module Inc. for the EV charger. They are, I think there's some more work that needs to be done in communication with them, because they put it back to us. David had serviced it or had some support servicing it, and it's still not working. So we're gonna say, all right, we did our part. Now we need you guys to either verify that this is going to work, whatever the fix might be. My only concern is if it comes at a cost to us, because that's not something we budgeted for, to be repairing the EV charger. And I would be concerned about, impact for other infrastructure.
Absolutely. it's just sort of like become a thorn in my side, honestly, that they're out there and I don't know that they ever worked. And so it's kind of a bit of embarrassment. We have this, anyway, enough about that. But I mean, I think we just need to keep following up on it. I don't know that anyone wants to spend money on it, but it's kind of, I feel like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. It just,
I'm still just a little confused about it because they've been out there for a couple of years now. Have we not had them serviced ever?
they've never
And-
worked.
But like typically the EV chargers, like they do get serviced yearly. So did we never do that? And now we're finding out like years later? Because otherwise you would have thought it would, if it never worked in the beginning, it would have been a warranty thing or something that now.
So it's been kicked around. I know we had numerous conversations with Adam about it, and he went out.
We went to
And-
the town at one point because the town had them put in at Council on Aging
Right.
as well, and thought it might have been part of
That,
like,
and
a
then
bundle, but
we went
we
with
were
Jay
told-
Joyce because we thought maybe it was part of that green energy thing that he was doing, and it's just been sort of, the can just keeps getting kicked further and further down the road. And then we did something I feel like last summer with some digging and trenching and checking on a
it may have even
cable.
been in the fall, yeah.
Right in the fall.
So it's just like it just bugs me.
I just go back to, like, I remember talking and Audrey bringing it up about like a maintenance schedule, even for the new building, because we are sometimes so focused on the high school that these things that are new,
Right.
but still, we need to just make sure that we're on top of
Right.
anything that we can do on our side to make sure that they're, you know, it's so crazy to me, they're so new.
Yeah.
That we
And I
don't
don't know,
know.
I say that like they never worked, but I would have to check on that, but
I don't know that they ever did.
I don't know.
Well, that's like why I
And
just-
we were like half kidding, like was someone supposed to like pay a bill to get them turned on? You know, like if they'd
Were they installed and not, like, were they put in and not, like,
connected. So that was what they were checking with the cable, the trenching or whatever they did last time. And so that we know there's power to them because you can see there used to be, I don't know if they've decommissioned them or whatever, but like it glows.
Right.
And Lance has tried a number of times to just do it just to see like
Yeah.
for ha-has, like when he comes for a soccer game or a basketball game or whatever. And it always, and the thing that's the kicker is I think he can see them as available chargers, but they don't work. So
It doesn't like read your card. If you select the card, it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
And
So we were like, well,
David
maybe-
might know this. I couldn't speak specifically to it. It sounds like it came in late in the building project, like really late,
Right.
last minute almost. It was an add-on, maybe through the green energy.
It was an add-on because I remember they had to add cable after all the other cable was installed.
Which could be.
That is true, so.
and then they're like, Adam couldn't find anywhere because there should be some
We should have record of.
some kind of, like if you have a charge point and you have to swipe your card, that money's supposed to trigger something. Like you've got to have a place for it to go. Like, so there's no account set up. So I know he was working, or he had talked to Chris at one point. There's probably emails somewhere where it's like, do you have the line item where this would go if we can get it connected? So it's kind of a nuisance thing at this point that I don't want to not know where we are with it, and I'm obsessed with it, honestly. So that and the cameras, those are the things that, it's like, why can't we figure it out? So, but it is what, I'm not saying that I want to spend a ton of budget money to get it fixed, but it doesn't feel like we should have to pay for it. Someone somewhere knows why it's not working, we just haven't found the right person yet. So that's enough of my soapbox, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Quite the other thing is we had our bid opening for the kitchen project, and there were no bids. We knew it was an aggressive timeline. We had one company come out, do the tour, give some feedback to us, and so I think we're going to change our strategy a little bit in terms of maybe getting some of the engineering specs first, and then as a phase one, and then putting it out to bid for construction as a phase two, because it was really an all-inclusive of the engineering and the construction side of it, and I think that's really what caused a problem with the timeline.
So
Plus trying to have it done for the first quarter of the school year.
was any of the information that, the amount that I guess I don't know how it works. So let me try to complete that, sorry. Because we know the dollar amount that we can't go over.
Mhm.
So we don't put any of that in there because we just say,
No, there was a dollar amount that was
Okay.
in less than what was allocated through the capital article.
okay,
So,
all right.
So
well,
we're gonna
that's
try to
exciting.
parse it out, get the engineering study done, because the engineering study will inform the specs for the scope of the full project,
Awesome. All right,
so. And like Todd said, we we tried an aggressive timeline to get it done probably quicker than what was realistic. But the alternative was essentially saying, we're gonna have another year next year without the kitchen, and the work gets done next summer. So we took a shot to say, hey, if we can be really aggressive, maybe we'll get some of it this year, knowing if it didn't work out, we're back to the same place that we were gonna be
right,
anyway.
okay. That's fun. Anything else?
nope, that's all that I have.
Any other questions? Awesome. Jill?
We meet next week.
Okay. Any other, anything for our next meeting? I just have the second read and vote for the wellness policy. And I just want to say, I thought graduation was great. Everyone did a really nice job. Excellent speech.
Thank you.
I thought it was really well run, and it was nice to see it back in the gym. I gotta say, I thought it was pretty nice.
It was great.
Eva introduced Todd, and she got him good. He was taken aback. It was kind of fun.
They get me from time to time.
And Marcus's speech, you guys would have been, well, Jill was there, but would have been so proud of him. He got a standing ovation. Everyone was crying, and then we thought he was done, but he wasn't done. Everyone was standing clapping, and he's like, so anyway, concluded. It was
Awesome.
it was great, and Catherine and Brady did amazing. It was just, they did good, but Marcus, you guys have a connection too, so it was, he just did an amazing job. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll move us along. We're going to vote to enter into executive session under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Part A3, to discuss strategy with regard to collective bargaining, as doing so in an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the committee. The committee will not return to open session.